Good morning, good morning. I am Cecil Ryan, and the program is called Issue at Hand on WEFM, the clean, fresh sound. And the program is also carried on Star Radio and Garfina Radio. We thank you for tuning in with us this morning, today being July 5, 26. We're happy that you've chosen to be with us. So we give you a warm welcome on this Vinci Carnival or Vinci Mass weekend, whichever way you want to look at it. We're happy to be with you. Today we're going to be talking matters related to Vinci Mass 2026, of course. There are many, many matters, and we have some folks who are lined up, my guests. But first of all, I want to just say that my colleague, friend, and comrade Lansford Weeks is on the program. He's on via video link. I'd give him a chance in a while to greet you. And also on video link is our friend, colleague from a long time, Dr. Cliff Scott, historian and lecturer at the University of West Indies. But right now he's in Vinci, overseeing the things insofar as the songs of Vinci Mass is concerned. Good morning to you. Well, I'm going to bring him back to introduce him in a while. But also in studio with me is a voice and face we have become very familiar with, a cultureman himself who comes from California always, every year, to be part of Vinci Mass, himself having experience and created it the earlier part of his time here in St. Vincent. I'm talking about Kojo Mason. Kojo, greetings and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
All right, I believe Lansford is on.
Hi, Cecil. Morning.
Hey, Lansford, good morning. Lansford, economist, retired senior public servant, and a man who knows everything about St. Vincent, life and living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So Lansford, let me allow you to greet our listeners.
Thank you, Cecil. Yeah. Cecil, let me join you in greeting your listeners, wherever they may be at this point in time. Those who are in St. Vincent, especially for the carnival, I hope they're having a great time. Kojo, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Weeks.
And Dr. Scott, my classmate and countryman, man from, among other places, Stubbs. Greetings, Dr. Scott, if you're hearing me.
Yeah, good morning, Lansford. Good morning, Kojo. Good morning, Cecil.
Good morning. And well, I don't know if Lansford is finished giving his greetings. I was waiting till he's finished so I could bring you in formally. So Lansford, back to you.
That's fine, Cecil. We can hear from as I said, my countryman, a man from Stubbs. Right, Cliff?
Countryman from all over across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning to you, Dr. Cliff Scott. You're all from all over the place, man. Dr. Scott, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm all over the place. Yeah, the internet is a bit unstable, so I'm trying to sort it out. You hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
No,
we're hearing you.
I mean, the internet is still giving some. Yeah, the internet is a bit unstable. I'm trying to find an alternative.
Yeah, we know
but
that.
It's indeed a pleasure to be here this morning.
With it. Not that is, we don't like it, but it's the provider, and we got to take it as it is for now.
Yes. Well, Cecil, you could continue. Let me see if I could get a better, something better.
Okay. All right. Okay. But we are victims of the service provided by the provider. Lansford, I hope you're not a victim yourself. I'm sure you are a victim. All of us are.
Yeah, Cecil, we've had the unstable internet, sometimes a complete outage, sometimes low. what you call it. Well, Cecil, I was wondering if we have a man who is constantly selling something that he doesn't have, you don't think at some point the police would go and lock him up?
Yes.
So how year after year, every time Carnival come, every time Christmas come, you have these people selling capacity that they don't have? Why nobody doing anything about it?
Well, Lansford, honestly, that's what I'm wondering myself. Because, as you mentioned, Carnival, years gone by, when you saw people trying to sell creators CDs on the street, remember, that kind of that tendency.
Yeah.
Men used to hustle on the street selling.
They used to call it bootleg.
CDs. Men used to call the police because it was wrong. So it's a similar thing. We're being bootlegged in terms of the service that we receive from this provider, and it is not good. It's a serious situation.
Yes, every time we have the visitors and they sell additional capacity and it is used, you find the usage seem to me beyond what is provided.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore the insufficient capacity prevents the traffic from going through.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs to do something about it. It is too frequent. It's every year at Christmas, every year Carnival. We have to go through this. And even it has become also during the Easter period, we have the problem. Every time you have a few persons come into the country, this provider in particular, we have a serious problem with them.
And added to that, Lansford, is the question of World Cup football. Even as World Cup football is on, it's worse. It's worse.
I could add to that because paying for pay-per-view outside of St. Vincent, you're at your own peril.
Mm-hmm.
You either get it, and when you get it, it's buff.
Mm-hmm.
And you really don't get a good flow of it at all.
We are talking about it now, and we have been for a while. A few weeks now, we've been talking about it on the program on the station, but nothing is happening. There's no action to improve it.
Cecil, I don't know there's anything that they can do immediately, because it's like you have a pipe. It may be a huge pipe, but if the fittings, if the pressure valve only allow a certain volume to go through, and you have many users on that pipe, there's nothing you can do unless you replace the valve and put in a bigger valve so that the larger volume can flow. And this is what is happening every year. Every year around this time, we have to have this conversation.
Lansford, you could use electricity as a one, because if you put too much string on one socket, it will trip the breaker. The breaker is not getting tripped here, just buffing.
If you want to be more visual, Kojo, you can use the road network.
Yes.
When you have too many vehicles on the road, you have a backup.
Yeah.
And there are times when you come to a particular point, the traffic just stop flowing. And this is exactly what we are faced with every year around this time. It's unreasonable.
I don't know if it's the bandwidth that they're giving people or what, but I don't think they give out enough.
I think that is the problem, Coach. I think they're selling bandwidth. You see, these things are based on a probability. You sell me, and you sell you, and you sell Cecil the same bandwidth, with the hope that three of us will not be using it at the same time. But when it comes to Carnival, and as you say with World Cup, and there are many more persons using the bandwidth that they're selling, and I think this is what is creating the problem. I am not an engineer, but I have a basic understanding of how these things work.
Lansford, you know, back in the early days in America, you will buy a service, and you could tell when your service is getting close, because like closer to the end of the month it starts slowing down.
Yes.
At the beginning of the month you could search, you could watch a TV movie, you could watch everything. Closer to the end of the month you can't watch nothing. But now I think they realize that people know that game, so they don't do that anymore. But they used to do that. They used to slow you down.
Cecil, Kojo, that happens here also. Seems as though it's built into the system. When it comes into the time to pay, your service slow down. And there are times it comes almost to a halt, where you basically can't use your internet. So that happens, and that is another problem, a slightly different problem. This one is that they're selling capacity with the hope that everybody who they sell it to will not be using it at the same time. And more persons are using it at the same time, and it is creating a backup to the point where at times there's a complete halt.
All right, so, well, I don't know. We could only hope that action be taken to improve it, because everybody's suffering. Every user complains about it.
I think you all have to go back to Glenn Jackson time. You remember Glenn Jackson said, take the phone back to the company.
Well, he did. He did lead that action.
Yeah, you need to do a Glenn Jackson. Take it back to the service provider.
Mm-hmm.
So they could do something about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we will keep calling for improvement until, and at our age, as much as we can do these days. Talking about ages, and there's a matter I want to raise later on in the program. But right now, let's go to our regular Caribbean Connection by Win Calendar, and then we would come back to talk about other issues. All right?
This is Caribbean Connection News. It's great to have you in company. Thanks for joining us for our Caribbean Connection News. We begin this week in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands. The Court of Appeal on Thursday dismissed an application for bail by former Premier Michael Missick and two other senior government ministers, pending the hearing of their appeals against their convictions and sentences. In May, Missick was sentenced to 4 years and 26 days in prison after he was found guilty on February 4th, 2026, on 3 bribery counts connected to government land and development deals. Former government minister McAllister Hanschel was sentenced to 3 years in prison, while former Attorney General Thomas Missick, the brother of the former premier, received a prison sentence of 4 years. In a 21-page written judgment, Court of Appeal President Justice Alice York Suhan ruled that none of the 3 applicants had demonstrated the exceptional circumstances required by law to justify bail after conviction. The appeal court held that the applicants had failed to establish that their appeals were likely to succeed or that there was a real risk they would serve all or a substantial part of their prison sentences before the appeals are heard. The Court of Appeal, in reaching its decision, noted that once a defendant has been convicted, there is no automatic right to bail. Rather, the discretion to grant bail pending appeal is exercised sparingly and only where exceptional circumstances exist. Justice York Suhan reviewed authorities from across the Caribbean and the Commonwealth and concluded that the applicants must demonstrate either that their appeals have a strong likelihood of success or that justice would otherwise require their release pending appeal. In rejecting the former premier's application, the Court of Appeal rejected arguments that the lengthy delay before trial amounted to an abuse of process requiring his release. It found that the issue had already been considered during earlier proceedings and noted that the trial judge had already reduced his sentence by 3 years to reflect the breach of his constitutional right to a trial within a reasonable time. The Court of Appeal also rejected submissions that his sentence was manifestly excessive, finding that the trial judge had carefully considered the seriousness of the offending, the level of planning involved, the amount of money received, and the abuse of public trust before imposing sentence. In the case of Hanschel, the court ruled that the trial judge had properly considered his individual role in the offenses, his personal mitigation, his health, his previous good character, and the lengthy delay before trial. It concluded that no error had been demonstrated in the sentencing exercise that would justify granting bail pending appeal. In relation to the former Attorney General, the court noted that his 9 grounds of appeal raised complex legal issues concerning money laundering, concealment of criminal property, the required mental element for conviction, and the interpretation of the proceeds of crime legislation. The applicants also relied heavily upon their compliance with strict bail conditions over the past 13 to 15 years, their deep family and community ties in Turks and Caicos Islands, and their willingness to submit to even stricter bail conditions, including electronic monitoring. But the Court of Appeal rejected those submissions, ruling that such considerations did not amount to exceptional circumstances. We now go over to Castries in St. Lucia. St. Lucia on Wednesday officially assumed the chairmanship of the Caribbean community, with Prime Minister the Honorable Philip J. Pierre beginning a 6-month tenure, which will focus on delivering meaningful results for the people of the Caribbean. 5 priorities will guide St. Lucia's tenure: strengthening regional unity, advancing climate justice, championing reparatory justice, promoting economic renewal, and ensuring that regional development creates opportunities for everyone.
During my tenure as chairman, my commitment is clear. CARICOM must continue to move closer to the people. It must be seen and felt not only in meetings and declarations, but also in communities, schools, businesses, homes, and in the opportunities available to every Caribbean citizen. We must strengthen our unity. The Caribbean is strongest when we work together, speak with purpose, and respect the voices and contributions of every member state. Our diversity, our cultures, languages, traditions, and experiences is one of our greatest strengths. We must also continue to build a more resilient and sustainable region. This means advancing climate action, strengthening food and nutrition security, supporting economic growth, embracing digital transformation, expanding opportunities for trade and investment, and improving the movement of people, skills, services, and ideas across our community. At the heart of this work must be our people. Every Caribbean citizen, regardless of age, gender, ability, background, occupation, or circumstance, must be able to see themselves reflected in the regional agenda and feel that CARICOM is working to improve their lives.
Under CARICOM's system of rotating leadership, St. Lucia will serve as chair of the community from July 1st to December 31st, 2026. From Roseau Dominica, head of Dominica's new International Airport Development Secretariat, Mr. Bernard Lloyd, disclosed that the government has so far paid over $45 million to landowners in Wesley. This figure represents about 575 acres of land purchased for the construction of a new international airport.
The Secretariat was set up specifically to deal with issues dealing with the new international airport. And that includes the acquisition, the negotiations, the payment of compensation also. And to date, we have paid in excess of $45 million to the various landowners. One of the other components of the project is the development of a subdivision in an area we call Joberton. Government have constructed some 42 dwellings to move 32 families, all right? And as we speak, we're just completing an additional 12 single bedroom units, and that should be complete within the next couple of days. And then we'll be also moving some of the families who have been displaced by the acquisition of lands for the airport.
Mr. Lloyd says the acquisition of lands for the construction of the international airport is about 85% complete.
If I were to rate it as a percentage, I think we are somewhere about 80 to 85% in terms of the work that has to be done, re-acquisition of properties. Okay, we have just acquired an additional 8 properties, and hopefully that will be the last 8 properties that will be acquired for the project, and that has to do with the approach lighting to the runway.
He added that the acquisition of lands for the project has generally been satisfactory. Our next stop is Port of Spain, Trinidad. Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara has publicly addressed the dismissal of 17 police officers, stressing that no one within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is above accountability. Commissioner Guevara made it clear that no officer is sacred and warned that misconduct will not be tolerated. He emphasized that those who engage in wrongdoing must be prepared to face the consequences of their actions.
I wish to reaffirm a fundamental principle that within this service, there are no sacred cows. Police officers are entrusted with extraordinary powers. And with that trust comes the duty to uphold integrity, discipline, and service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. When that oath is broken, the consequences will be clear, decisive, and impartial.
Commissioner Guevara made it clear that maintaining discipline within the police service is his commitment. He has issued a strong warning that misconduct will not be tolerated and will be met with decisive action.
It be a warning that any officer who wears this uniform and engages in criminality will face the full weight of lawful action. I will take every step necessary to remove you from this organization. The TTPS remains committed to transparency, accountability, and the highest ideals of public service.
The commissioner added that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service continues its zero-tolerance approach to crime and assures the public of a renewed, firm, and decisive response to criminal activity. This is a roundup of news from across the Caribbean, produced by Win Calendar for Caribbean Connection News. Our next stop, Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ricardo Adams, chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation, says this year's Vinci Mass celebrations have received strong support from patrons and stakeholders across all major events. Mr. Adams added that Vinci Mass remains deeply rooted in Vincentian culture, reflects the nation's identity and heritage, and goes beyond entertainment.
And there are a lot of people on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I don't think we could find a hotel room or a car rental available now. And we're really pleased that people are coming in to experience and enjoy Vinci Mass because, you know, it is our story to tell. It is our culture. And that's why we're so proud that we can continue to have these cultural events right in the heart of the season because it is primarily about the culture.
This year marks the 59th anniversary of Vinci Mass, and the chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation highlighted it as a significant milestone for St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cultural Festival.
Vinci Mass has been innovative in a lot of areas. We were one of the very early carnivals to introduce a no bottle policy, and we always brag that we have one of the safest carnivals. You know, I go to bed at night, and I wake up every morning listening to ensure that people had a good time without any incidents. And so far, again this year, we've continued to have that. And we're just telling people, it is high energy, it is intimate, it is Vincy Mass.
From Roadtown, Tortola, BVI, His Majesty's Prison has marked the completion of a 12-week arts rehabilitation program with an exhibition and merchandise launch, highlighting artwork created by inmates as part of efforts to support rehabilitation and successful reintegration into society. The initiative was delivered at the Balsam Gut facility through a partnership with Creative Waves and Augier. The exhibition featured artwork produced during the program, while guests were also able to purchase merchandise displaying selected pieces created by inmates. According to organizers, the event was designed to recognize participants' talent while supporting the prison's rehabilitation objectives. The program builds on the prison's wider rehabilitation strategy, which is increasingly focused on educational, counseling, and personal development initiatives for inmates. Sophie Stanton of Creative Waves said the launch was a proud moment for everyone involved and offered the wider community an opportunity to see and support the work produced through the program.
It is a real pleasure to be able to showcase the work of the participants who have taken part in this program. Over the past 3 months, they've worked closely with our devoted art teacher, Caroline, developing new artistic skills, exploring their creativity, and perhaps most importantly, building confidence in themselves and in the creative process. This course was never about creating professional artists. It was about creating opportunities to learn something new, to challenge themselves, to express ideas creatively, and to discover abilities they may not have known they had.
Earlier this year, His Majesty's Prison also hosted a second annual inmate debate centered on rehabilitation and personal change as part of those broader efforts. From Georgetown, Guyana, President Dr. Irfan Ali says the growing security partnership between Guyana and the United States is significantly supporting anti-crime efforts across the Americas. President Ali joined U.S. Ambassador Nicole Theriot at a reception on Thursday commemorating the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence and marking 60 years of Guyana-U.S. partnership. The president said strengthening security ties remains a priority in the bilateral relationship.
Diplomacy is at its strongest. And make no mistake, our joint commitment to international peace, international order, democracy, and the rule of law is at its strongest. I refuse, Ambassador, to call it cooperation. I will go a step further. Our security alliance is not only aligned, the task before us is to make it intertwine seamlessly. And that is what we're working on.
The Shield of the Americas is a U.S.-led multinational security and political initiative launched by President Donald Trump in March 2026, enabling intelligence sharing, enhanced border security cooperation, and joint military operations among member states. Ambassador Theriot also acknowledged the growing security relationship.
Guyana faces real threats from narco-traffickers, transnational criminal organizations, and those who challenge its sovereignty. The United States has made clear that Guyana does not face those threats alone. When Secretary Rubio came to Georgetown in March 2025 to sign a landmark MOU on security cooperation, he stated clearly that any attack on Guyana would be a very bad idea.
Beyond security, the two countries' cooperation across sectors from business to healthcare was also highlighted. And finally, this story out of St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. Police are trying to determine the circumstances which led to a woman being shot dead in Hilltop District Parity, St. Elizabeth on Friday morning. Police named the woman as Anishka Thompson, a resident of New Forest in Manchester. The incident reportedly happened around 8 a.m. A highly placed police source said Thompson's 38-year-old boyfriend told detectives that he was getting ready for work when he took his licensed firearm from a safe and placed it on a table. The man reportedly told detectives that he was loading the firearm when Thompson playfully picked up the firearm, and in an attempt to take it from her, he heard a loud explosion. The injured woman was rushed to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police are awaiting an autopsy and ballistics examination to determine whether the incident was an accidental shooting. And that is where I leave you this week. For Caribbean Connection News, I am Win Callan.
Well, again, we thank Win for that across the Caribbean reporting. Very professional, very clear, and at least his reporting puts us in touch with what's happening in some respects in our neighbors' countries across the Caribbean. Gentlemen, any reaction? I'm not sure if Dr. Scott is back with us. Yes, Dr. Scott, are you there? Doesn't appear so. Yes, Lansford, Kojo?
Yeah, I want to make one correction. He said 59, it will be 49.
49. Is it 49 or 47?
It's 49. Next year it's going to be 50.
Right.
Change over.
Right.
So
it's 49. Next year will be 50.
49 and not 59.
Right.
So that's the one correction I want to make.
Mm-hmm. Lansford?
Cecil, I join you in the view that the reporting is very clear. Mm-hmm. But I am particularly interested in the first one that dealt with the refusal of bail for 3 convicted persons, former ministers of government, and to say that the reporting is an education, Cecil, mm-hmm. because it points to the consideration that took place in the hearing, some of the issues that were considered during the hearing, as well as the sentencing, particularly as it relates to conditions of bail for persons who have been convicted. Very clear, really an education to persons who are interested in these matters. And I particularly point to this because very often you would hear discourse taking place in the society criticizing court decisions, criticizing sentencing, etc., etc. But sometimes, if we pay attention to reports like this and in information contained therein, it puts us in a position to understand these matters a bit better when they are dealt with in our courts.
Mm-hmm. Kojo?
I have the part of where the police say that they're investigating themselves. I have issue with police actually investigating themselves. I think it need an outside body to do the investigation. Yeah, I mean, I always feel that you call the police to give evidence against the police. I don't know. And we have a thing in America, they call it the blue wall of silence. So I don't know what they would call it down here, if it's black wall of silence or whatever it is. But I always feel like if you're an organization and you're investigating yourself, I don't think much come out of it. At least for the general public, even if there's evidence to clear you, the general public sees that you investigating yourself, it makes it look like it was a biased investigation. So I always feel like you should have somebody else from outside, probably a few lawyers. You know, I don't know if they have much investigative. Well, they should have investigative lawyers here because they have criminal activities going on. So I think, a few, lawyers could team up and do some investigation so that the public, because that's where you really want to make people happy and comfortable that the police is doing the job properly. And if for some reason make them look like they're not doing it, it looks bad in them. So I think they need an independent. That's how I see it.
Well, the good thing is, as Lansford said, and I agree with him, the matter was dealt with.
Cecil.
Yes.
I think it's a second. I think it's a matter out of Trinidad.
Oh, sorry.
And
we hadn't finished one on. Yes. Yes, that's correct. I was wondering, actually.
I totally agree with Kojo. There are countries in the Caribbean. I thought Trinidad was one of them. I'm not sure, but I thought Trinidad was one of them that had independent investigators. I know for sure Jamaica has INDECOM, an independent commission that has the power and the capacity to investigate both the army and the police, and to present evidence when they find evidence to the prosecution, the Director of Public Prosecution, so that, if necessary, criminal charges can be brought against police or soldiers. And I think it works very well. In as much as in the OECS, our court system is working well as an integrated system, part of our integration process. I think it's something to be considered, that we can have a regional, when I say regional, I mean a sub-regional, the OECS, in the same way we have the OECS courts. We can have a body with trained and experienced persons to do investigation into the police or army for those countries that have the army, and with the power to provide this evidence to whichever country it takes place in, to their Director of Public Prosecutions, so that the DPP can determine whether or not charges should be brought. I totally support this.
I don't know if St. Vincent has that set up yet, but I think if they don't, they should set it up, because as I say, the general public need to know and need to feel comfortable that, if there's a case is brought against the police, that the investigation is done, honestly and properly, and they could feel comfortable at the end results, more so than, because you could hear sometimes people saying, oh, the police do this and the police do that, and nothing come out. So if you could make people feel more comfortable, I think you have a better relationship with the police in that way.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to step out for a little bit. So back. Yeah. But I just want to, before we continue on the Trinidad reporting, I just want to go back to the Jamaica one. And I was saying I agreed fully with Lansford in terms of his take on the Jamaica situation. But
I think it's BVI, Cecil. It's
BVI.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm disoriented this morning. Yeah, BVI. That's right. And in as much as these folks, one was the
Premier
general, and one was the premier, and apparently they were relatives. But the judge disregard all of that, and
the AG as well, Cecil.
The AG, yeah, the AG who was who is, I think, related to the premier.
Yeah.
But the judge.
So you believe the three top men of the
Yeah,
country?
but the judge just came down with his ruling, notwithstanding their position and their power in terms of the social point of the society. And that is what we would want to expect in our own jurisdiction. Yeah. At least I expect that, especially when it comes to do with the law must be the law, you know? The law must be applied regardless of who you are, where you are, and that kind of thing.
They say no one is above the law, right?
Precisely.
So
in fact, in the same Trinidad one that we were just discussing, where the commissioner was saying, that's what the commissioner said.
Yeah, no
one's above the law. An individual, even regardless of who you are, you're subject to the laws of the land. Yeah. You know, and I think that's where
everybody's subject to the Constitution of the land too.
And that is where I certainly agree with Lansford in his summation. You know,
but Cecil, even before the matter gets to court, there's another important consideration, you know, because the courts do not investigate these matters. It is the responsibility of the police to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, police must have that independence to investigate everybody who is worth investigating. And therefore, that is why it is so important that we must not have politicians in our police force, especially at the very senior level.
Mm-hmm.
We must not have politicians. Our police must be allowed to be fearless in what they do, regardless of who they are dealing with.
Mm-hmm. That's what just allowed me to greet again Dr. Scott. I think he has been waiting. He's been in the waiting room for over half an hour, he said, and we will not recognize him. So Dr. Scott, welcome back. Happy to have you back.
Yeah. And incidentally, one of the issues I wanted to discuss this morning about Carnival is policing. And for some reason, you have started to speak about policing. I would say to you, Cecil, within the last 2 weeks, police have put their hand on me no less than a dozen times.
Sorry, repeat that part. Police have
put their hands on me no less than a dozen times.
On you? Okay.
Yes. On me. I am convinced that the police in this country think that they have a right to manhandle every citizen, especially during the Carnival period. I don't know who gave them the directive. Even in Victoria Park, what I went through last night with police is unbelievable. Although I have an official pass. Okay? So that there's clearly some mentality existing in the police force that you must manhandle people. And we are seeing it within the recent past with police brutality. And I'm speaking from the position that my father was a policeman his entire life, that I was a cadet officer that got to the rank of captain, which is 1 step below major. And I repeat that, captain, which is 1 step below major. That the authorities need to understand something is wrong with the police force in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And what the commissioner in Trinidad and Tobago just said, I wish these police in St. Vincent could hear that. For some reason, especially when they put on fatigues, they feel they have a right, first and foremost, to manhandle you instead of to listen and reason. And if you don't know how to make a decision, call a senior or an official to make a decision, not to manhandle people. That's the mentality that's going on now. So I could only imagine what ordinary citizens go through daily with the police in this country. We need to do something about it, especially during Carnival, especially in Victoria Park. People come to have a good time. Some people might drink too much. Some people might run around too much. But that what right does that give you, Kojo, to manhandle a person?
Lansford?
Cecil, I really want to empathize with Dr. Scott, and he made a very important point in terms of his involvement and his experience, vast experience. I remember seeing, well, then Cleve Scott proudly wearing his cadet uniform while in secondary school. And I am very confident that he has a very good understanding of how these things are supposed to work. But I will go one step further, and I will say that I have observed that our Minister of National Security has a very I don't want to use adjectives that can be interpreted. What I want to say, that he thinks very highly of his military experience. He has a very personal perception of what that means and how the military is supposed to interact with the society. You hear it in his speech all the time, and in his dealings with the police since he has become Minister of National Security. And I am really not surprised to hear Dr. Scott complaining about how the police in military fatigue, how they are treating our civilians. I agree with the commissioner in Trinidad that nobody is above the law, but there must be reasoning when the police is dealing with civilians. I know we're in a difficult period. Crime is mounting, particularly violent crime. The murder count is increasing weekly, monthly, and they are interested in doing something about it. But roughing up civilians is not going to help the problem. And the sooner the Minister of National Security understands this and allow the police to work on their own strategy and stuff like that, would be the better for society.
Well, Lance, what is your interpretation? And I'm not going to question your interpretation. My position is you have different levels of authority in the police force. You have training, and your training and the use of your training have to fit the situation. I am saying to you, if you come to Victoria Park in Sokomana, you have to remember you are in Sokomana.
If you don't mind,
you are not.
Go ahead. Dr. Scott, go ahead. Sorry. I think his reception is frozen. Go ahead.
I hope he didn't drop out.
Yeah, I'm back, right?
Okay.
I'm back?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying, if you're in Victoria Park, Sokomana, you have to remember you are in Victoria Park, Sokomana. You are not on Lomans Beach at 3 a.m. in the morning with a suspicious boat.
It's frozen again. That's experience.
Yeah, Cecil, you could continue until the internet.
No, we're hearing you. You continue. We're hearing you now.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're in Victoria Park, Sokomana, you are in Victoria Park and Sokomana. You're not on Lomans Beach 3 o'clock in the morning with a suspicious boat landing. You know, you have to exercise some level of discussion and common sense, right, Kojo?
Yes.
And that is my problem. And I'm speaking from the point of view of going to events all over the world. And if you ask me what's my recommendation is when you bring police to Victoria Park, take them out of these fatigues. Take them out of fatigues. Put them in a plain white shirt, mark police. With a big black letter out of the big boots and camouflage. Take them out because they seem not to understand how to behave among patrons. I'm very annoyed, Cecil.
Mm-hmm. I noticed on Facebook. I was looking at. I wasn't there last night. I was not in Independence Park last night, but I noticed on Facebook that there was a Black Squad police on stage during a presentation. Is that the practice? Is that normal?
Well, I can't tell if it's authentic or a copycat. I can't tell you.
No.
Because everything you see in performances.
The one I saw, the photo I saw was an authentic SVG police officer in Black Squad, in black, on stage during the performance.
I can't tell you, but I'll tell you this, that they were police and all different types of fatigues in the black, with automatic weapons, with pistols, etc., etc. And I'm saying there must be some levels. If you are ready for combat, you must be located where you could be called out. You shouldn't be in Victoria Park or Independence Park or in any event like that walking through, because people come to party. People come to party.
Automatic rifles?
You think I speak in Spanish?
Is that what you said? Automatic rifles?
All right then. Okay then. You get
No. I just want to know if I'm hearing right.
I think I've made the point very, very clear. We need to rethink how we do policing in Carnival, in the park, and in the areas, and as a whole in the country in this time. There's too much heavy-handedness from the police. Last year, I'm coming through the gate, 2 hands in my pocket, I look at a police corporal. I said, what your hand doing in my pocket? Oh, I had a search you. I said, but you did not caution me. You didn't tell me either I get searched or I can't get on the park. And you push your 2 hands in my pocket. Who tell you push your hand in people's pocket?
But that's private property. Can they invade private property like that?
Well, I'm saying I have had enough and I've spoken about it, and I hope the authorities hear what I said and we do something, because this would be the road towards increased police brutality. These constables need to know, not because you're a policeman and you're in a uniform, you don't have a right to shake down people and clout out people and do them all kinds of things.
I think Anthony Park, you subject yourself to a search, right?
Sorry?
I say Anthony Park, you subject yourself to a search, like a pat down. To go into the park, you subject yourself, because I think that is part of the
that's the procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's legal.
Park.
And that's legal.
Yeah, it's just like going to the airport.
No, Kojo. Nobody, if you're going in, you are told, if you want to go in, you have to be searched. That's why they call it caution. You don't chuck your hand in people's pocket.
Okay.
And you could decide, I don't want to be searched, I'm not going in. Simple. Because Kojo, you could have something in your pocket that you don't want people to get. So you go and you dispose of it and come back. So the caution is if you have a scissor in your pocket, Kojo, go get the scissor to come back.
Yeah, I understand that. That's why I said you part of the entrance is like you subject yourself to a pat down, not really a search.
Yes, a search, Kojo, but you have to be cautioned that if you want to go, you just don't push your hand in people's pocket.
And it's the same thing I'm saying. If you pat down someone,
well,
it's not like you putting your hand in the pocket, because you could be pat down, but you don't have to be searching my pocket.
But anyway, the pat down is a search, I think that's what Dr. Scott is saying. The pat down is a search, but I don't think the police has the right nor the responsibility to simply search you without your permission.
Your permission, yeah.
I don't think so, unless they have really good reason to suspect that you're about to commit a crime. And even that, as Dr. Scott is saying, I think they're required to caution you.
Mm-hmm.
I think in order to actually sort someone, you have to arrest them.
Well, anyway, let's not go into all of this. But the point is, the action of treating people as if they're criminals even before. I think that's the point that Dr. Scott is talking about. And that obviously is not right. It is not legal. And so, Dr. Scott, yeah, I empathize with you, and I'm glad you're raising the matter now in the way that you're doing it, in a very forceful way, so that those who are responsible will take note, and people can take action. People can take legal action. I mean, go to the lawyer, take the matter to court. Those things can happen. So.
And that's why you need an independent body to deal with these things.
Yeah. Well, outside of that, Cecil, Carnival has been going good. We have some good calypsos. Tonight is the finals. Kojo will be there. I will be there. I'm leading the panel of judges later. The mass was real good. We didn't get good support in the mass show, but some real nice costumes. And I would say this, right? Sometimes we don't know what we have and we don't want to protect it. This year in Barbados, they have brought back kind of a king and queen of the band, but not as a competition, as an exposition. And a lot of that has to do with the agitation from myself and Anthony Admiral Nelson over the last 3-4 years, indicating that the crop over would be much better with a kind of exposition. So the NCF has brought back a display by selecting leading costume designers in a competition. And we need to understand we have good mass tonight, king and queen of the band too. Our people need to support it. We need to find ways to promote it and show it to the rest of the world. We had Soca Monarch last night, Raga, and Power Soca. It was good. We had a good turnout. Much better than the last 2-3 years. Much, much, much better. So kudos to the CDC and the officials for getting out the people last night. Tonight, I expect a big crowd for the Calypso competition. The Panorama, we had a reasonable number of bands, but I was concerned that the numbers, Cecil, for the players was much smaller than over the last couple of years. So we have to watch to see why it is we have less players in 2026. So something we need to address going into 2027 to get the numbers up on the seal band players, and perhaps getting some of the defunct ones, Cecil, like yours. Your band was in it. Well, we on radio, so I went tell them that you took me to Martha's Vineyard with your band, and we had a good time.
Oh, that was years ago. That was many years. Yeah, that was before 2017.
Right.
I think it was in early 2017.
Okay.
But my involvement in Steel after that, after I was dismissed from Southeast Steel Orchestra, we had another band called Excess Steel. And that was involved with Marlon Anton as the music director and coordinator, if you like, and other people on the executive of that organization. But we can come back to those things later, Dr. Scott. But yes, so you remember the Marcus Vineyard experience? This is good. Yeah, so we can come back to that. We can talk more about Vincy Mas later on, but I think we want to finish the win calendar contribution. And I'm seeing somebody calling, but I want him to hold on a bit until we finish. Because there's another aspect, there's another part of the reporting. Well, there are two other parts that at least I would like to
but Cecil, before you move on.
Yes.
You're speaking about the MISIC situation, but Kojo, I don't think that the listeners understand this has been going on for a long time. This is about 20 years. And I know about it because the former leader of the opposition in Barbados, Ralph Thorne, he was the initial lawyer, and he left the case. And so it has been going on for a very long time, about 20 years or so. So that don't be surprised that the judge made that ruling because of the long-going battle. And so they clearly wants to bring this in. I just wanted to add that part.
Okay.
Cecil.
Okay, all right. Okay. And Lansford, any other issue in terms of the broadcast from WIN that you would want to raise?
No, Cecil, I think I've made my point on that.
Okay, I just want to make
Yes.
mention of one other, and that is the one about the St. Elizabeth in Jamaica situation, where the woman was apparently shot, whether by accident or what is not clear to me. It's just a strange story, but I'm raising it because there is a similar case here. Well, not similar, where it is a case where an elderly woman, and I happen to have known the woman well, was murdered, was found dead on her land in Proven Vale. And, well, unfortunately, the land boundaries piece that I have in Proven Vale, so you could imagine what it was. I knew the woman well, and she was 84. She was Bonnie Williams' sister, one of them. And from the report I read, well, from the stories, not really the report, from the story I picked up that her nude body was found with a phone in her mouth. That's a gruesome kind of murder. A woman 84 years old. And I have not heard anyone made a statement about it, not even the National Council of Women. I have not heard anything. And I'm surprised. I'm saying, why has not there been somebody who speak out against this? You know, it's a woman, an elderly woman, a hard-working woman. She was a farmer. She used to be there always on her land in her water boats and her mountain clothes, basically. And it seemed, well, I don't know what to make of it, but it's just that the incident itself, I find it to be very troubling, and especially where nobody has said anything. Nobody, in terms of the organizations that claim to defend women's rights and so on. Nobody, no lawyer, and I'm surprised no female lawyer has said anything about it. And it's especially troubling to me because it seems there seems to be an attack on older persons. And the reason, I'll share an experience I encountered last week Thursday. I was coming in the early morning, about 6:15 or so. I was coming 6:15 a.m. I was driving back from the South Vinci Beach Athletic Stadium, where I go to my exercise. And I was feeling good driving back because I had a good session. Did my karate breathing, did my fast walking around the track, interacted with other people, did my squats and so on. So I felt good. And as I drove back, I looked in my mirror and I noticed a truck heavily loaded with something that looked like bags of coals. But I realized I observed that the truck was not too prom. So I decided to be extra caution. When I got to my gap to turn off, I put on my indicator, my vehicle indicator, about 5 yards before I got to the gap. Normally I'd put it on about 500 yards. Normally I'll put it about 300 yards. And then I also stretched my hand out to indicate where I was going. And as I turned to go up my gap, and I looked out to ensure that there was no vehicle passing me, the driver of the vehicle said, "You mother so-and-so, white-haired man, you can't drive," and so on and so forth. And he kept going on. So I simply looked back and said, "Same to you, my friend." And I went up. But it is a kind of abuse that I find that is meted out to older persons in the society, and it is wrong. And sometimes even in Parliament, I hear those things. It is wrong. Leadership must mean something. And when you have tried to abuse others, you must remember that you will be in that situation. Like the fellow said, "You white-haired." I mean, I'm clean. My head is clean shaven. So I don't know if he did on my head. Maybe he saw the ends coming back up. But I hope his head comes white sometime in the future. I hope his hair comes white otherwise. So I just wanted to mention that, and the whole question of what's happening to our senior citizens. We have to stop abuse people. We have to. It is not right. It doesn't make our society better. And it is wrong. It is wrong. Stop it, please. People who are listening to or hearing me, encourage and urge your friends and families not to do those things. It's wrong. It can lead to violence. And we have enough of violence. We don't want our society to be more violent. So I am, gentlemen, Dr. Scott, just as how you gave your own experience, I just thought I'd give mine because I find it so wrong. It doesn't help our society at all. Are you all there?
Yeah, Cecil, I hope it is not a situation where our society is becoming numb to violence, because we have spent so much time, we have spent a lot of time criticizing the violence in the past. And as I said, I hope it's not that we are numb now, so that when another one takes place, we're not able to, or we're not in the frame of mind to speak about it. I condemn all forms of violence, whether it is the young or against the young or the old. I condemn all forms of violence. But this situation where this elderly woman, 84 years old, who tries to keep herself active by engaging in farming and doing stuff on the land, and to meet her death in that way, it deserves the strongest condemnation possible, and it should come from all areas of our society. It's really sad to see this happening. We need to respect our elderly. As you say, well, if you live long enough, you may find yourself in that position at some point.
Yeah.
And if you don't live as long as that, it is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that most persons would like to live as long as possible, especially if you're experiencing a good living, good life.
Mm-hmm. Ransford, I have to add something to this. Young people don't see themselves in that age. And because they can't see themselves at 65 or anything like that with gray hair, and they're moving fast and other people are moving slower, they think we are, people of that age is holding them back from moving forward. And so that's why they give out so much abuse, because they don't see themselves like that until they reach. I mean, some of them do end up not able to move because of the lifestyle that they live, in terms of because they find themselves in some kind of accident and they end up in a wheelchair, and now they're in the same position that an older person is in. So they experience it, and now they realize probably what they were giving out to an older person. But me, I respect people, and that's, and that's the key. The word is you just have to respect people, regardless to age, creed, color, or what. You respect people, and once you develop that respect, you wouldn't see somebody who moving slower than you want to cuss them out because they're moving slow. Mm-hmm. They're moving slow because of a reason. You don't even know if it's medical or what. Mm-hmm. Some people move slow because of some medical reason. They had an injury, their back hurting. There could be so many different things make you move slower. You don't have not to be age, because there's some people who is 90 and they move as if they're 60. Mm-hmm. And there's people who's 60, they move like if they're 90. So, you can't just assume people, like how Cecil said, the guy said, white head. And that
didn't only say white head.
And he probably used
the qualification.
Those are the French words. I call them French words.
Yeah, he did that.
So I mean, it's like in America, when you see a slow driver in front, which is bad enough, if somebody driving not kind of good in your eyesight, they say, "Oh, that must be a Chinese." Like right away, because they associate bad driving with one particular type of people, and it's bad.
But in my case, I wasn't driving slow. I was turning. I was making a right-hand turn to go into my gap.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And I was just looking back. While I was looking back, after I heard him, I looked back and wished him.
Well, that's
well.
That's the same point I'm making, because he associates you being old because you're driving.
Well, I'm not sure, because he wasn't really. He couldn't say. I mean, I just shaved.
No, but I'm saying.
But the point is, though, I want to draw the parallel with the point that Dr. Scott raised about looking at people and abusing people for whatever reason.
Lack of respect.
Lack of respect.
Lack of respect. And I only highlighted police and carnival, but I could tell you other places. There is a deep-seated lack of respect existing in our country, especially for people who think they have authority. At the airport, too. At the airport, the way they speak to you and treat you, I could give you details. You can ask me a question. You want to search me. Why you want to search me? You have to tell me why you want to search me. Because I could decide you're not searching me and depart and leave. You understand, Coach? That's why I say the caution. Because I can now remember I have something I need to dispose. And that's the purpose of a caution. But you must be respectful. And I tell you this, Cecil, one reason I like England, in England, people are very, very respectful. I don't know how they master the art of being respectful, but they will tell you the worst thing in the most respectful manner.
Most decent way. They practice. They practice.
But in our country, once somebody have a little bit of authority, they feel they must drive you into the ground. I went into the teachers' credit union. I said the teachers' credit union. Teachers' credit union, Cecil. Right? And the way the security treat me, I say, listen, you know I helped build this building? You know I own this building? Because for some reason, the security don't understand that a member of a credit union is an owner. So you're treating the owner like that. You could tell me what you want to tell me respectfully. So we don't want any blockage here. It would be nice if you could say, you can't move from there, go over there. Respect, Kojo. We have a problem.
You remember what happened to that incident last year, was it? With the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union. Unfortunately, the incident, the gentleman who was a member of that credit union, and he had come back and gone in there to do a transaction, and just like that, he lost his life. So is that kind of general attitude, Dr. Scott? I think we need to condemn and urge there to be improvement. There must be proper training
and I'm appealing to people in authority, whether you're in a credit union, a bank manager, Western Union, because I MoneyGram where people go for services. Remember,
and in the public service, by the way, Doctor, sorry to cut in the public service, in government also, we need to call out people and urge them to do better.
Be respectful. If people are paying for service, they are paying you. They are not working with you. You are working with them. We have a problem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. People have become very disrespectful. And it permeates now that if you butt upon a man, he won't kill you. Because he don't know how to de-escalate and say, you bounce on me, right? And he says sorry. He ready to kill you before he can say sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And
when we talk about violence, a few people have been trying to call into the program while we were speaking. So, and we have been urged to cut down the talking out inside and allow other people to call. Somebody, one of our friends called and told me that. But anyway, let me just remind persons they can call anytime, 457-9997. is the direct number, also used as the WhatsApp number. Call us anytime, even while you're speaking, we'll cut off to take your call. So go. If you wish to call now, you can start. Yes, Dr. Scott, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm saying when we talk about violence in the wider society, when we draw the graph
Scott,
or
we
the
have a
map.
call coming in. Let's take this one. I'm trying to take it, but it doesn't seem to be responding. Oh, yes, it's now there. Greetings, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, panel. Scotty, Cecil, Mr. Weeks. It's Weezy here.
Weezy, greetings.
Weezy, I know you don't like me.
What's that?
Weezy, I say you don't like me.
Oh, Kojo, yes. Sorry. You know what, Kojo? I had to switch to the camera to see if it was Kojo because you sound so polished, mate. How about that?
I have to use my calling voice.
That's your radio voice.
Yeah, but my calling voice, and I'm not using my calling voice. That's why.
Oh, I see. Well, you're very, very talented, man. Good. Anyways, I'm listening to the conversations, plural, and I just want to touch on maybe two. First of all, it's Carnival. And as usual, that's at my heart and my soul. So let me discuss what I want to talk about when it relates to Carnival. Last night, we had the Power Soca, right? And the Raga Soca competition. And as I have made this point on several radio stations as it relates to commencement of shows and what are we or what is the CDC doing to counteract or correct that? One, for several reasons. We have embarked this year to sell packages through VC3. We have a couple of problems with that. Internet, one, in terms of stability, and two, commencement of shows. We have to bear in mind, when we advertise packages for sale, we have persons from the various diasporas, especially that the shows were advertised exclusively for persons residing outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And last night, that show, as usual, is nothing new. But what are we doing to correct it? Are we going to just accept that that is how things are? No, we shouldn't. Because if I pay for a package that is advertised to start at 9 o'clock, I expect that as a customer to start at 9 o'clock. Because before I purchase that package, I have to tabulate or calculate 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is not Greenwich Mean Time or any other time zone for that matter, right? And we are selling something that to a customer or customers without total satisfaction. As a matter of fact, it's like you have to be going through punishment. I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, GMT time. No, 11 o'clock rather, sorry. After 11 o'clock, Greenwich Mean Time, and the show was still going on. No, there are two injustices, as I mentioned, the customer. But let me touch base on the artist. Because it is not fair. If you having two competitions in one night, based on my experience, when you sign a contract, you're also given a contractual time that you have to be in the park. And not just sit around because you pull number 10, you're going to come in at number 7. It doesn't work like that. And this is where the problem is. Because when that show is delayed, the artists have to be punished for hours before they perform. That can take away from the performance of the artist. Right? I don't know how, if there is any discussion to strategically tackle this problem, but we can't accept this. This is substandard. And if we need to improve on the product that we're selling, i.e. soca or power soca, we have to give the artists justice, and we have to give the customers justice as well. There are a lot of other things I would like to discuss, but I would just like to leave that there because it is frustrating. It is frustrating. There needs to be some strategic approach to counteract and get people in the park, not just for Soca Monarch, for all the other shows. The marketing needs to be creative, innovative, and come up with some sort of strategy to lure people in the park early. The all-inclusive parties have demonstrated when they advertise an all-inclusive party to start at 6 a.m. till 12 a.m., people are there. When they say whatever time in the evening or whatever, people are there from the time the first note strike. Why? Let us ask ourselves why. You know why? Because they're paying for food, drinks, music, and they ain't want to miss nothing. So let's come up with something, man. Come on, please. I would listen now, Faye. Maybe Scotty could elaborate on what I've just said, because I know he's close to persons in the CDC, so than I am. So maybe a quick word with them would probably.
Well, some of them are listening, and then Coach is here as well. So, all right, thanks, Weezy. Thanks for contributing. All right, so Dr. Scott, you hold him.
Yeah, the issue of time, he is correct, and he put forward his argument in a little technical way, but I could break it down for the listeners. Now, if you're in England and a show starts at 11 o'clock, that's 4 a.m. If you're in South Africa and it starts at 11 p.m., that's 5 a.m. So what Weezy is explaining to you is why cricket is played at particular times, especially night games. You try to find the best time to capture the majority of the market. And therefore, if you're doing streaming, pay-per-view overseas, you have to find the best time. You can't be starting the show to suit people who figure, well, the best time to come back is midnight. So it's something that the authorities need to look at to work out the logistics, and we could learn from cricket how this has been done.
If I'm home in California, I get the benefit of that because you're 3 hours behind, so I don't have a problem with. But I still have, like, take for instance, I watched the South Leeward thing. I started in
South Leeward Carnival,
and I started in the evening, about 5 o'clock my time, and 1 o'clock in the night of my time, the show was still going on.
Okay.
So that's to tell you how long the show was. You know, and like I don't know who came up with the idea that they needed to put back the time to start the show last night because
put back the time to where from?
Because I think it was supposed to start 8 o'clock, but
it was advertised to start at 8.
That's the normal time.
No.
Nice.
It was advertised to start at 7.
It was
7?
advertised to start at 7.
Well,
7.
Somebody put it back 2 hours later because I heard on the radio that they were putting it back because of the private parties. and they were doing that so that the private parties could finish and they could start their show. And to me, Carnival is the product and not the private show. So I don't see why you're giving to the private parties. It's like you're giving up your product.
Yeah, so that's something we have to work on. Another issue I have is no intermission, and is how much? 30-something years I keep saying we need intermission. No intermission. No intermission, Kojo.
Because the intermission too long. The man go off, they eat lunch, dinner, probably even breakfast, and come back.
And have a nap.
And have a nap. And then come back.
Exactly, Coach. And these things are very important in
Yeah.
show business. And for everyone, that if you're sitting in the pavilion, you don't want to miss anything. So you should have a chance where you could get up without missing anything, go and buy a drink and go and use the bathroom.
Scotty, there was one time there was a demonstration in the US, and this young lady, she stand up and said nothing for a minute. And if you're on radio or television, a minute is a pretty long time. And she was given credit because no one has ever done it, a demonstration, a silent demonstration like that. And she got the attention of people, but that was just a demonstration. So you imagine you in a show, and then like last night I saw a guy, the music is playing and he stand up and he's calling for the whiner person to come, and the person like they're in the backstage.
Coach, let me take a break. Let me take this call.
All right.
Greetings.
Hey, good morning, Cecil.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Dr. Scott and my brother Lansford Weeks. And Kojo, I didn't see you in the park last night. I don't know why you hide from me.
I was there. I was there. I was about to
I know you were there. You
about.
don't miss anything. Anyway, I am happy that Wiseman, my friend Wiseman, called about shows and timing and everything. But I just want to offer a slight and different perspective in terms of the business of shows. Last night I got to the park about after 11, and as soon as I walked in, the first artist came on in the Raga Soca, about 10 past 11. I left at 3 o'clock after the first competition ended, because I said, boy, I can't handle this 6 o'clock in the morning, because I went to Fireman Hooper. And in trying to get to Fireman Hooper, I encountered a policeman at the gate. At the gate to get backstage, and I didn't have a pass, admittedly. So he asked me, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going backstage to get my pass." He said, "No, you have to get a pass to go." And so I said, "Okay." I realized he was starting to get aggressive, so I backed away and I left the park and I went home. But I just to support my friend Clive Scott about the attitude of some of these policemen. The first position they take is to be aggressive. It's not to be passive and to try to help to resolve a situation. Just try to get aggressive to see how they could create a scene. They need to do better. These policemen, they need to do better, or find policemen who have the skills to learn and interact with people, to go to attend these shows. They must have these policemen in it. You can't pick the other guys who always want to be aggressive and want to fight, to embarrass you as the first option. But I want to offer a slightly different perspective to add to the conversation, hopefully. Shows. You would invite a man like Marsha Montano or even Voice, and they will perform for an hour at a show, and you will pay them maybe $45,000 to perform for 1 hour. You would charge maybe $100 for a patient, and the show goes for 8 hours. So for the next 7 hours, you probably have made back the money you paid the man 1 hour for. So the point I'm making is that we have to find a way to package these shows maybe into 3 hours maximum, because after 4 or 5 hours, you thought you're tired, you're not enjoying the show, you're looking at the clock to see what's going to happen next, and I'm hoping that these promoters and even CDC as a promoter could start looking at how do we package these shows to make sure because when you keep the lights on for 8 hours, brother, you're running lights, you're running current, and you're running up a cost, When you paying staff to work for 8 hours on a show that you collect $80 for, and paying a guest artist $45,000 you're adding to your costs. There's no way these shows could make, so they gotta learn to look at the business of these shows and reduce the time, package these shows so that they could make money too. I just wanted to leave that there to hopefully add to the conversation.
If it's adding to what you say, there's a problem with the props, because I think they need to start letting these people know that they could put these props on wheels and roll them on and roll them off, because people have to walk up on the stage and put the props together. Those props should be put together off the stage and you just roll it on and roll it off.
But they have too many artists performing at finals.
Well, that's
one way to cut. Too many artists performing at these finals.
You probably don't need 11 and 12.
You don't need more than 8 people, in each category. That will reduce the show significantly. It'll cut it in 2, because when you have 6, how many people perform at Soca Monarch last year? 15?
I don't know. I think it was 13 for the Power Soca, and 13. I think it was 11 for I might be wrong.
Right, so I
think it's 12, 13 or something like that.
So let me say you have 24 artists performing. Why do we have to sit down and watch 24 people? Is this that you want to give somebody an appearance fee? If you reduce it to 8, these guys will compete stronger, and they will increase the quality because they only have to fit into 8 slots. But if you have it that these guys could get an extra 4 because they video, let them in, they shouldn't be in the park at a finals night and have to enjoy that sort of that length of time, and then you add into your cost because you have to shorten these shows. I just wanted to leave that the business side of these shows for them to consider how to save money and how to make money
and how to satisfy the patrons.
Yep. Yeah. Listen, last night was I saw my friend Cleve Scott in the park, and I could see him, he looked a little agitated because it was late, and he's a little embarrassed. I'm sure he was, that we can't get this thing right. And then when I left the park at 3 o'clock, I never leave a car park by the opposite the convent school. The guys collected so much money at that car park and forget that when the person ready to leave, they need to get out. So all the alleyways were blocked up. I'm like, how do I leave my home again tonight to know that I'll probably get that same experience tonight? These are the things when you're giving service, we have to think about how do you collect the money now, how do I serve that customer? Mm-hmm. And Cecil, I wouldn't join you again with this this company customer satisfaction and stuff, right? But we have to.
But you're dissatisfied. But you're dissatisfied.
He's not going to say that.
He said not joining me, but doesn't mean you're dissatisfied.
We could do it. We could do a lot better. Do a lot better.
Fair enough.
We'll take that.
Fair enough. But incidentally, before you go, Fitz, you said you made this observation that Dr. Scott, your friend Cleve, was a bit off track. Well, he was kind of upset, but remember he had an unpleasant encounter also with the police, which he related. So it's all of that, and that's why we have to.
I don't know if he was upset after I met him.
Before.
Okay. I don't know at what point but I am sure that all of us want to see a better quality product.
All around.
Come on, man. But why do we have to have 8, so much more than 8 in each category? Why? Because we have to package these things, reduce the time that we spend in the park, and let these guys know that, you're competing for 8 spots, not 12. So you have to lift your game. When I walk the floor, and I don't want to hold up the line too long. We used to do a lot to help to promote the festival. I think Carnival missed a lot of that stage shows that we used to have on the promenade and up Heritage Square and stuff like that, right? We invented a show called Look Who Didn't Make It. So the people who didn't make it to the finals, we invented a show that they could come and perform at the promenade for a cash prize. And that worked well. The thing is, these are little ideas that these people, promoters, or maybe CDC, say, you didn't make it, but we'll still find a stage for you to perform at a lower fee, But to put 14 and 15 people in the finals and so on and expect me to sit down and spend 8 hours in the park, nah, man, we gotta do better than that in this stage. We gotta look at business.
Another thing, Fitz, I think they need to cut back that 8 minutes or whatever it is they have. 8 minutes is 8 minutes long of a song. I think that's like 2 songs put together,
And then you have guest artists who didn't even sing a song this year, but they come out to sing a song they sang 20 years ago. Come on. I mean, we're already listening to 20-something soca songs. Why we want guest artists? Why we want a long intermission?
And another part of the show that I didn't have a problem with is the MCs. I think they like to hear themselves. They were talking too much.
The MCs?
Yeah.
Well, they're paid to talk,
I mean, call the artists on the stage and let them go.
They think they're paid to talk. They think that they're paid to talk, but they're paid to introduce the artists.
Yeah, that's what they're for.
And give information that would help us to have a more comfortable stay in the park, not necessarily to talk about just because they have a voice, they want to talk and big up themselves.
They have a voice and they have a mic.
And they want to big up all the brethren and big up everybody and big up this and wasting time, man. Come on.
All right. Thanks for your contribution today, as usual. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope the idea was more important to me than the complaints.
Okay.
I don't like to complain, but I just want them to think about reducing the amount of artists, maybe package the show a little better, making it shorter, make it a little more pleasant for the customers. All right, man.
All right, thanks for calling. Dr. Scott?
Yeah, another good presentation from Fitz. And Fitz, again, like we see, is using simple logic. In show business, we determine how much time we want to run for. So if we know we're going to have a show for 4 hours, it's only so much you're going to do in 4 hours. And he is right, there are too many competitors in both competitions. 13 and 12, 20 plus is too much. And again, I like to make the comparison. So if you go across the region, you would see that most countries don't quite so many competitors. At one time, we had it separately and we joined it back. But when we joined it back, we didn't realize that we need to cut down some of the numbers. Going forward, we need to cut the numbers. We need to decide if we start in 8, what we're doing between 8 and 9, and what time we should finish. Finishing at sunrises for a government event, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea at all. And my days as an engineer, it was the most irritating thing. You try to explain to people that you keep all the workers at 6 a.m. and you expect them to come back at 5 p.m. So when will they get adequate rest and so on? We need to get this time fact right. Both what Weezy said and also what Fitz just said.
Lancelot, any comments?
Cecil, I know it's Carnival that we are talking, but I think the problem of starting events is a societal one. And I think it's part of the ill discipline that's in our society. You go to a meeting and the meeting is scheduled to start at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. You're still waiting on persons to come. And that's really part of the problem. And until we deal with that, this issue will continue in the shows and in every aspect of our country. I remember when I was in a particular ministry, I set a meeting for 9 o'clock. And I showed up at 9 o'clock and 9:05, people still streaming. And I just got up and went back to my office. Didn't explain anything. The next week when I set the meeting for 9 o'clock, I got there at 5 to 9 and we were ready to go. You have to deal with this ill discipline in our society.
Blazer and Nam dealt with that when they were producing and performing. Yeah, when they said
when they say 8
o'clock, it was 8.
They start 8.
Regardless who was
10
were
people
in the
inside,
audience.
15 people, nobody, they don't start.
So there has to be a stance. People, you have to take a stance and live with it. And people will comply in time. Because people complied when NAMI used to have their shows, prompt starting 8 o'clock. But I guess it's a reflection of the time and the people who are the organizers these days. So we got to find a way to deal with those things. The living is very challenging, I find now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Very challenging.
And that's where the word come back as respect too. You know,
respect. Respect. That's the point. That's the word. Respect. Respect is the word.
Right.
Respect time, respect yourself, respect others, respect everything. So that is the word of the program today, and Dr. Scott, respect. Thanks for using it and for emphasizing it. The number to call is 457-9997 if you want to contribute to the conversation, and you can call via WhatsApp or straight. Yes, Dr. Scott.
No, I was saying anytime you meet a Rasta man, first thing you tell is respect.
Respect. Yeah.
And it's so important that if you don't respect one another, all of these other things are going to fall in place. You know.
Yes.
I thought we was having a call.
No, earlier on, people were calling, but I guess I don't know. Well, we're respecting their own privilege anyway. They want to call when they want to call. And we have one now calling. So let's go to the line. Respect, my brother. Greetings.
Yeah, greetings. Yeah, I'm blushing here and smiling.
Blushing?
And so
Why are you blushing?
No, Dr. Scott, no. Dr. Scott. Rastafari. Respect.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So give thanks.
By the way, I don't know if did you hear my story?
Yeah.
You would be pleased to know that part of my good feeling that morning was that I did some karate stretches, and I did some breathing, karate style breathing, deep breathing, and all of that. And even some punches. I did some punches. So you'd be very pleased to know that. Unfortunately, I encountered this disrespectful person.
Just now I have to give you an honorary black belt, Dr. Scott. I have to give him that, you know.
Dr. Scott has okay.
I hope the elders are listening. The breathing is foremost. It's very important. I think a lot of people must practice it, you know, even before you go to rest up on bed and so on, you know. Just stay in your porch, sit in your bed, take some deep breaths, you know, and inhale and take the air down in the stomach, bring it back out to the mouth and do that. Because some people breathe wrongly. Some people doing something, walk or whatever they're doing, and the mouth is closed and just breathing through the nostril only. So it's important. Well, let me say pleasant, great and blessed morning to you, Kojo. You sound real, you are ambassador at large, yeah, I think so. So glad to have you there in studio with Cecil, keeping company with him bad self, you know. Keep him at bay.
I thought you were giving me credit just a little while ago. Now you switched.
That's where friend is and brethren is. We could tell it. I mean, so Kojo are watching you, because no Kojo keep a monitor with you. So yeah, and Brother Weeks, blessed day to you. He's sounding powerful as usual. Good to have you with great health and strength. The Almighty bless and keep in your ways, you know. So you have made a lot of production in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and still is contributing. So give thanks, you know, because the greatest thing you could give somebody is your time. And you have given Brother Cecil the time.
No, he has given the nation, not the nation. Even now he's giving the nation It's time.
Yours are high, yes, Pino. You're speaking with that now. I say, I like to go you foremost because you demand because of him. Then I'll say the nation.
All right.
Yeah, but you have a here. Yeah, I noticed that you chain up well, you know. Yeah, Cecil, you know.
Dr. Scott is on as well, you know. Don't forget, you know, Dr. Scott is on the program.
Yeah. Well, I don't hear him up. You don't
you did?
know we're going
I missed it.
The first thing I turned you.
Oh, that's right. You're correct. So,
you know why he's operating, man. I was in session with him. You know why I man. Yeah. So but I noticed, you know, one get excited. So, you know, because you used to have the format and when you play Winkling, the insults and so on. Then after you finish with that, then you say you go on to your other discourse, but kind of in between. And
it flowed naturally into, you know, from one part into the next this morning.
Because when Dr. Scott come in with a reasoning there and it just flow again. And so, yes, because everything like tie into certain things that you were discussing. But my thing is about this one you played about the prison reforms and so on, right? And you know, when I listen to these discussion that Wayne plays and so on, I like to tie it in at home. You know, we have this norm as Brother Weeks was saying, like people have this thing about, you know, they don't want to they don't want to be on time. They just have the norm. Oh man, them go late. So everybody come with this thing within the whole brain system all the time. It just resonate there. So I go in for a meeting for 7. I don't decide, boy, them people ain't go there for 7. I go for 7:30. So I only for one had a concept and continue and no changes. That's why I agree with Fitz and Wheezy tying into the whole discussion pertaining to the timing and so. Because the greatest thing in life, Brother Cecil, when you people make mistake or you have made mistake, you cannot be repeat the same mistake. You put you in a better position to understand what had transpired and what was the pros and cons, where's the weakness and where's the strength, and to change the weaknesses and to step up. But the same weaknesses continue. Weezy were right about the package and so forth, you know. So, and Fitz were right also, and Dr. Scott, right, analyzing that this show need to cut down with the amount of artists are performing. This is a contest, you know, man. It ain't not about giving somebody a chance, them song good. No, you have to be up to par. Dr. Scott is a musician and he will know some of the qualities of the song and the words in the song, not pertaining to maybe the musical renditions and so forth, you know, because we have good band players here and so on, good musical instrument players. But it's not quality to be in a competition. As Fitz said, they used to have this show promoted by Line, and where they have people who did not make it, and they give them a little money, and people come and check them out. And maybe other people may hire them in between, other shows coming up after Carnival, whatever. So, you know, but I want to tie in this prison system thing here, right? This discussion. We have this thing about when a man go to prison, it's like punishment, not rehabilitation. But I think we have a few things in the prison system here that it can enlighten a lot of the prisoners' morals and so on, and good spirit to get involved into their own business and so forth, right? But what I want to see is that you must have like an agriculture program, okay? That if people, the prisoner parties in it, you can take, say, a week or so of the sentence, a month, whatever, pertaining to the time. You work it out and see how much time you give a prisoner to be involved. And this day must be in total productivity. So, okay, we concentrating and say like onions and garlic. This is a heavy commodity being used here, and millions is being imported here. And some the onions and garlic ain't worth quality control passing. So I did dump these things in these small islands or this the third world countries that can't pass quality control to sell it other more developed countries. That's my knowing. Eh? So you have a program, Cecil. We have lands that land there. Even if, like Dr. Scott owns some land, because I approached Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott, we want 10 acres to lease. Okay? And you work out something there, payment and so on, right? And you get prisoners involved into agriculture. Food is the source of life, food and water. Without that, man can't survive. Look how much people starving all over the world because of war. And you have blockage here and blockage there, and food can't be transported and so on. Right? So we need to step up with that instead of trying to punish people. And when that person, those prisoners who comes out of such program, Dr. Scott, you can say, give them a help whereby there's some department government, we keep abreast with them. If they need some equipment, they need a tilter or whatever, they need this, need that, you provide them. And whereby you can have land where you can provide them with the same prisoners, so maybe get a half acre of that same land and pay a small lease, but that start paying no money until maybe 6 months when he catch in his hand, when he produce and so forth. If they need a tractor help, you put that in place, help them plow the land and get them involved. So they be entrepreneurs at the cell, they will have their own business eventually. And it will be a good example. They can talk to peers that they see going into badness and stupidity and encourage them and motivate them because they are living example. So we need to stop this thing about just punishing or just put some man in prison, lay down and get 3 square meals and just then they're doing stupidness and holy for the lotishness, right? We need to get these things out of mind frame and mindset. So I listened to that prison reform discussion there, and it take me here, we have some fairly good things still what's going on in the prison recently, but you must see it at the Christmas time and so on, But I want to see a program that when the prison come out, they can help themselves and help the society.
All right.
Much, Yeah. So give thanks, man. So, but Dr. Scott, sorry to hear what go on with you. I think that the police need more training, discipline. Security officers, so-called security officers also, because Cecil, these people just pick up people that just don't do no proper vent on them or train them and then put them to work somewhere and collect big money, put them to work 12 and 13 hours, and some of them don't pay them on time.
Well, I'm not sure the money is big, but regardless to it, the point is that then we need to have appropriate behavior. Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Be humble. Your approach.
Humble.
Every action brings a reaction. You don't go with force. You go with humility.
Humility and respect. You're correct.
Right, because with Fitz now, an officer could have called another officer and say, look, accompany this gentleman here, please, to accompany to get his pass. Fitz was very approachable. So these things that the police got to step on.
But that point you raised, Bongo Shaka, that point you just mentioned is so important. Where if there's another officer nearby, all he had to have done was to call the other officer to accompany Fitz to go and get his pass. That's a simple thing. Very simple action.
I think
if he had doubts,
I think the name of the police is wrong. It shouldn't be called police force. It should be called peace officer.
Well, that's for another day. That's one. We got to discuss that another day. I certainly
if there's
share
a
that
peace
view.
officer, then the mindset is
would
different.
be different. Well, we would discuss that another day. But in the particular incident that happened to Fitz last night, as Bongo Shaka is suggesting, all the police had to do, call another officer to accompany Fitz to the point to get his pass. That's all.
If he doesn't get a pass, you take him back across the door.
Simple.
Yeah,
so
and
simple.
I sure when Fitz get that done, Fitz will come and return to him and say, thank you very much, officer.
I'm sure.
Thank you very much. And
sure.
the officer said, you're welcome, sir. You have a pleasant morning and good night,
But Bongo Shaka, it comes back to the word of the day, the word of the program provided by Dr. Scott. Respect, and you yourself just added humility.
Yeah, when I say Rastafari, Dr. Scott, when I say Rastafari, greetings, respect. That's love and respect.
Yes.
Love is the foundation of life and key to life, know. And that all these attributes carried comes right on the love, respect.
Yes. So it applies across the board in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, across all professions, all sectors or sections of behavior, from the top to the bottom. Respect and humility.
My last word to you, personal brethren, that you always chat with that integrity within yourself, that love is the key and the foundation of life, and you are walking within righteousness. You're walking in righteousness, vineyard of righteousness. Okay? So don't make no man tell you you're the sinner, you're the righteous person, because you walking toward righteousness, you may find obstacle in the way, you may get challenged, you may overcome them. Some may bring you a little certain way down and you step above it again. Okay? And you correct yourself.
But let me tell you, Bongo Shaka, I never subscribe to the idea or the concept of people are sinners. People are bad. I don't begin there. I begin from the premise that everybody's good. From the time you were born, you were good. No sin or nothing. You were good.
Right. So
and all you have to do is live to manifest the goodness. That's what it is. Try to live. Everybody should try to manifest the goodness in them. And it is consistent with the words we're using. Respect and humility. All right?
Compassion and compassion.
Lansford, hold on. Lansford coming in.
Yeah, I have our brother Lansford, man.
Yeah. Maybe we need to go back to the original phrase. Remember, the original phrase was not simply respect, We drop off an important word. It was respect due.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. You correct, Lansford.
Yeah, we need to go back to that, respect due.
Respect due.
And manners, like the old people use the word manners. Yeah, we were disciplined with manners.
Yeah, they used to say manners and respect will take you around the world.
Yeah.
Kojo, you're right. And I see that whereby people used to come in from overseas, see a nice youth, and the youth have love and respect, and eventually they went overseas and they sent for them. And took care of them, and the person had grown into big woman man. I've seen that since my youth days coming up, because that same manners and respect, that the person, the youngster has shown to this person in particular. So let's deal with that, man. When you get up, you get more wiser, and to be in an age of certain way in this world, it's a blessing. And people will realize they have to come up in age certain time coming up, although the time looks short, many a time you want to know if 10 years look like 5 years sometime.
All right, Bongo Shaka.
That's how you frame your mind.
Thanks for your contribution today. Yes.
Yes, and everyone be careful and be safe, and make sure you always look around at your surroundings and be alert at all times.
And always respect due. Respect due.
Continue with the martial arts. I hope one day maybe I could arrange and we link up there when you're training and give you a few self-defense techniques.
Hold on, I'm not a top notch. I'm not top notch as you. I just try to think.
Right, in case Kojo, remember Kojo might fall a little now. So
I see.
That you said train to, don't take care of you,
I did my time with ounce of beef.
All right.
All right, Bongo Shaka, thanks a lot again.
So
good exchange this morning.
And give thanks to accommodating ICC.
All right, good exchange this morning. Thank you very much.
And each one take care.
All right.
Okay, Russell.
Bye.
All right, Bongo Shaka.
Yeah, very good contribution. Very good interaction, actually, this morning, I think. I enjoyed it. Yes, we still have a few minutes. Gentlemen, anything you want to comment on?
Cecil, I have a question. I don't know if Dr. Scott can.
Yes.
I saw a discussion going on Facebook. The question is, will the police band be doing backstopping later today?
Dr. Scott?
Yes, the police band will be there with support.
That sounds even better.
Yes, so we are supposed to have, in my calculation, the best backing in the last 10 years.
Oh?
Yes.
They're going to pull me out.
So you would have police for these, support for the police band or the other way?
The police band would be there with support.
Oh, they would be the main band as usual, and they would have additional. Okay. All right, thanks for the clarification.
There will be a company with the Calypsonians. The police band support will be accompanying the Calypsonians, is that?
With other musicians.
Right, accompanying the Calypsonians. Okay, great. That's it.
So we are going to have the best backing in my calculation in the last 10 years.
Okay.
It's something not to miss tonight.
Okay. And how about the sound engineering?
So far, so good. We had a good night last night. We have a young engineer, Ezra Ford, been doing a good job. I've been offering him support because we have to build capacity.
Yes.
So he's been doing a wonderful job, Ezra Ford.
All right. Yeah, go ahead,
Well, just on the basis of what Scott just said, that he building support, this thing been going through my head for the longest while, and I need to say it. I think we need to have, I call it a summer program, but they could call it anything they need. Because we're losing mass designers. We only have one Ozzy Constance in the land. He designs for probably most of the bands, except for the ones who go to probably Trinidad and get design. I think we need to have crash courses and, so we could get our young people learning the material.
Well, Kojo,
yeah.
What you're pointing to is the developmental aspect.
Yeah.
And the Carnival Development Corporation does not have a mandate for development.
Well,
this has been a major problem.
They should take the D out of Carnival Development. That is
but I'm agreeing with you. So what the Carnival Development Corporation has been focusing on is running the festival. So when we talk about getting people to sing better, play instruments better, we really need a serious focus on development. Because yes, you just mentioned mass, but in all the other area. And Lansford playing a smart man, asked for the policeman, he knows something. My answer has corrected Lansford. That if there's a vacuum, nature must fill the vacuum.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to bring in some of the top musicians to make sure we have a good show. Because my challenge is, as a man who goes all across the world, I'm speaking you to now, by the time the sunrise, I would be in another country. And by the time the sunrise, I'm in another country. And all people all over the world know I am a carnival man. They know I'm a Vincentian. And when I go to Germany, I don't want people laughing at me and see what's trouble this year going on in St. Vincent. So I take it personally upon myself, Kojo, to try my best to help and give the appropriate advice to make sure we continue to have a good product. And as I said, so far this year, we've been going fairly well, but there are areas for improvement, which we discussed today. And what Kojo is pointing to, that going forward, we need a serious development program in all of these sectors. We need more pan players. We need more mass designers, costume builders, wire benders. I mean, Kojo, I still remember a thing or two from you, man.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me just say that somebody just shared with us a WhatsApp saying the band is really called Festival Band, and they would be strengthened with some other musicians, top musicians. I believe Dr. Scott, you had a role to play in this. I'm not sure, but it's the police band, which will be strengthened with other top musicians.
Because we have, listen to me.
I don't know if members of Touch will be added.
Well, you had to come to Victoria Park to see.
Oh, he's not selling that talk.
I'm saying to the listeners out there and the viewers that you're going to hear one of the best bands in Victoria Park for Calypso Finals for a very long time.
It sounds like Touch will be.
And I'm very happy.
Some members of Asterix too.
Asterix too, yeah. Oh, even Flames. No, Flames will not be there.
Dr. Scott.
Cecil, Lansford is coming.
Yes, I hear the point that you made, and I am very happy to hear about this development. But if we go back a little to the history, remember the police band came to solve a problem. We used to have the bands from the tent back in the Calypsonians, and I think it came to a point where it left much to be desired. And then we got the police band that provided the music. Now, I noticed, Dr. Scott, one of our colleagues was playing music in the tent. And I hope he is one of those that would be supporting the police this evening. I see Cecil advocating for the members of Touch, but there are other top musicians who were around Carnival this year. And I hope as many of them as possible will be used to strengthen what we have in
Okay,
the back.
Lansford, I will say this to you. There was a democratic process.
No, I'm not questioning that.
The
Calypsonians,
the Calypsonians were the one who voted for the musicians.
For the individual musicians?
The Calypsonians were the one who selected the musicians. The carnival authorities did not. The carnival authorities, the CDC, did not pick any musician. The Calypsonians were the one who picked the musicians, as it should be.
Right, and but I'm asking, I want to clarify, were the musicians selected as individuals?
Yes.
So the gentleman I'm referring to, if he was or not, if he was, or was
if
not
he
selected,
wasn't selected, he was not selected by the Calypsonians.
The Calypsonians. Okay, thanks.
Yes. So anybody you see on the stage, the Calypsonians are the one who picked them, including the back vocal. It was a totally democratic process, but I am elated of this development, and I'm convinced we're going to have very good backing tonight, which would be comparative to the countries all across the region, as it should be. And the point I was making is we have very good raw material in St. Vincent. We have produced some of the best, but we still always like to play the underdog and second fiddle. We produce Kevin the Clantonian. We produce Beckett, and I could go on. We produce Touch. We produce Black Sun.
We produce Raga Soca.
And we produce some of the best mass and mass men who everywhere in the Caribbean they went to work on a carnival, they were there. So we need to have a development program to make sure that what happens to West Indies cricket doesn't happen to us. We can't wait until the whole thing fall along and try to build it back up from the ground. So that's why I'm supporting Kojo's point.
But in commenting further on Kojo's point, Kojo, I think we have, in my view, I see a number of young upcoming artists. They look good. I look at the things, the portraits on the walls in Kingston, the same Carnival, Independence Park wall, and also in Kaliakwa, even at the E.T. Joshua. There's a lot of young artists and artists.
And that's what I'm saying. These artists, you have to teach them how to design for costume.
Costume, okay.
Because you have to, when you design, you have to know how what you put on paper, how you make it a 3D.
Okay.
So you need to know how to build it, because you can't just draw it. Yes, somebody else might be able to interpret what you draw, but you should be able to tell the person that this is what you want at the end of the day.
All right, let's take this call, Coach, and we come back. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, you're on the program. Go ahead.
Hold on.
No, we don't have a lot of time, you know. But Coach, you make your point in the meantime.
Show the person what you want to look like, because a lot of times you see.
Hold on. Coach is making a point. Go ahead, Coach.
You just see a flat drawing and you don't know what the back look like, and so you have to tell them what you want it to look like in the back. So it's.
So the development, development
is
important.
To develop the artist to be a costume builder, also a designer. Because Pilling Aussie, they're all builders.
They came through that.
Well, because like me, I came through a man named Ian Reid. I used to draw on the wall for him to do his design. Because he know what he want, but he couldn't draw.
Okay. Let's hear the caller. Good morning again. You're on now.
Yes, please. I don't know what I'm not really interested in carnival.
But that's what we're discussing. That's what we're discussing today, this morning.
Yeah, but I heard you talking about respect.
Right. I would say carnival and related issues, yes. But go ahead.
Brother, we have to do something about these vans on the road. Now, Thursday evening, I came up here in a van. And when we pass Calico, coming up to
That's a mill.
what is his name now?
That's a mill.
Anyway, I was coming up to Brighton, right?
Okay.
By Huffle, okay? To get
Yes.
out at Huffle. But when I passed from the time I passed Calico in the van, they started playing I don't know what it was they was playing, but they was playing music. And this music thing was something about rum and rum and rum.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned up the volume of the thing to the top. And then all the young people in the van started to shout the same thing the video was playing. And I told them, I said, you all have these noise in this van. I cannot take it. It's going to my eardrum. I spoke to the conductor. And instead of they lower the thing, they turned it up more. And then they started to shout more. I mean, all these things are not right. Somebody has to do something about it. And it's getting worse. To me, it's getting worse. In the last couple months or so, it is worse. I mean, I'm a popular patient or
customer.
what you want to call
customer.
it, customer in the van because I don't have vehicle, so I have to go up and down wherever I go in a van, and it's terrible. I don't understand what's going on. It's really terrible getting now.
So what do you think the authorities should pay attention to? What do you think they should do?
Well, they have to do something. I don't know what
would
I
you
could tell
suggest?
them to do.
What would you suggest?
I'm suggesting that they mark properly.
We didn't hear that word.
driver
We didn't hear. There's a
and
beep. We didn't hear.
Even that, brethren.
Hello. We didn't hear what you
that.
said. You're suggesting that they
monitor them
Oh.
very honestly and see what is going on in the vans. Because just now they will be running up and down in the road and there will be nobody to go in them.
Well,
I don't
when that
think people
happens, they will know
tolerate
that they need to
kind of
change.
behavior. Huh?
When that happens, the van people, the van drivers and the conductors will know that they need to change their attitude.
Yes, they have to. Because it's terrible. I almost told the guy, stop and let me come out of the van. And I didn't do that because I noticed the traffic was very heavy on the road. And if I come out of that van, I might not get another one to bring me home on time. Because I don't like to be on the road when the sun goes down. I like to be at my house when the sun goes down because I don't like darkness. So I am saying the authorities need to check on these vans.
I remember one time when you called, did you say you're 83 or 85 years old?
83.
83.
83.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about the same word we're talking about, respect. That's the word of the day. Yeah. Particularly respect our elderly citizens.
Well, whether elderly or what, you cannot have that kind of behavior in the van.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they were playing the music, we understand that it's playing the music loud. But if somebody tell you that the music is affecting them, you're supposed to listen to the person.
Yeah.
Or persons. And do something about it, but don't pawn it up higher and like you don't concern about nobody who is who, you know. You could do as you like. And the other thing is these young people shouting whatever the thing is playing. And rum, and something about rum. They were saying some other word, but I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Saying the island is a rum island.
I don't know what it was, but I know it's something about rum. And every time the word rum come around, they will get up and shout it. So I don't like that behavior. It wasn't nice at all. I am really upset about that.
Well,
all right?
Yeah, but try not to get upset too much. But it's hard. It's difficult to ask you not to be upset. But sometimes you just gotta pity people, and as was said, just remember in yourself, respect, humility. That's the way to do it. But we would urge, and you've made a call on the plea to urge those in authority to take measures, put measures in place, so we don't have.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for calling.
You know, I mean, it's not Vincentians alone riding those vans.
Yeah.
It's other people, it's foreign people.
Yeah.
And I suppose those people come here for vacation, and they would like to have. I mean, if they have to drive in the van because they can't bring a car with them when they come in.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So they are.
Except they rent.
Most of
They
them might
rent
have
their
to
own.
drive in the van.
Yeah. Some rent their vehicles when they come here, but.
Or use taxis.
Yeah, some rent
Or
vehicles.
use taxis.
The vehicles. So
All right.
the van. So we have to learn to respect people.
Yes, I
on
agree.
the whole.
I agree. Yes. So thank you very much for calling. All right. Good. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's the same call we've been talking about all morning. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, Cecil, good morning. Lance Chapman.
Morning to you. We have feedback. Can you just turn your device in the background down a little bit? And then go ahead.
I'm going to move away from it.
Okay. Great.
Is
Yeah,
it better
Lance, how are you doing? How's the carnival treating you?
The thing is, a little bit ticklish, but I'm good.
Okay.
I'm resolute. The thing is, remember I was the director for Echo Music Rights.
Yes.
The thing is, these people who drive vans and transportation, I don't know of any place in the world where you can be playing music while you're driving. If they're going to do that, they're supposed to have a license because you're conducting business.
Yes.
They don't like when we say that. But you can hear people complaining about the loudness and all that. But it's also the effect it has on the youth.
Yeah. Because
they come around by the Peacemore and all by the school districts, and the kids are being affected by it. They say no, it's not because, but they are being affected by it. You see, when they go on the van and sing it Rum Island and they sing it, everybody knows the lyrics. The only reason they know the lyrics is because it's pervasive. And I wish the least they could do is make them get a license if they're going to play music in their van. That might give them a slow down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
The best I could say. Thank you for listening.
All right. Well, have a good year. I noticed you yourself sang about respect. I'm sure I heard you singing about respect.
I always sing about respect. It's paramount.
Yes. I was referring to your song this year, your production this year in particular. But you do always sing about respect.
Traumatic experience on stage, but I'm supposed to. The recorded version I'm supposed to play.
All right.
Later.
Thanks for calling.
Cecil, as we talk about the vans,
yes,
and I don't know if this action can be considered to be reckless, and if it is, then the commissioner should impose the law and start suspending their license until the matter gets to court. That I am certain, very confident that this will help.
Oh, you mean I
The
thought
drivers,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
loud music.
Mhm.
I am saying I believe that it can be considered reckless driving.
Yes.
Because that noise, I believe it impedes your ability.
Mhm.
And if it is, then the commissioner, when persons are caught in the act, should use his authority under the law to suspend the driver's license until the matter go to court, and let the magistrate deal with it thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
And so to make you feel happy, because I've been using taxi since I got here, and some of the one particular taxi driver tell me that the police in them is kind of suspending. They kind of have some kind of short circuit to the judge or something, that they could suspend the license on the spot. And so that's what the taxi driver was telling me. So that's why he not breaking any rules, because he said if he get caught, they could suspend his license like right away for 6 months.
That's what I'm saying, Kojo. But they can't suspend it willy-nilly. You have to commit certain act. And I think it is one of the main things to be, if they catch you driving recklessly. And I believe this loud noise, it's not music. When it starts disturbing persons, it's no longer music, it is noise. And I think the police should act. As I said, I want to go back briefly to the issue of development. That very important point that Kojo and Dr. Scott were discussing. And Dr. Scott raised the issue of the CDC not in a position to focus significantly on development. And I agree with him. But I know that a few years ago, a body was established in law to deal with cultural development. I don't know that it has functioned since the enactment. I don't know if it was even ever established. But this is something that we need to look at. We need to look at that, this committee, I think it was a foundation or commission, either or. But whatever it is, we need to look at it and establish it fully, make it operational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're talking about the National Cultural Foundation.
Yes. Yeah.
But with the establishment of the National Cultural Foundation and with the structure of the Department of Culture, you're unsure as to how they should integrate and operate. Because our Department of Culture, we have dance, we have music, drama, etc. Now, in other countries, their Department of Culture don't deal with these things, they deal with policy. Now, in Barbados, for example, and I speak with Barbados because I'm very deeply involved, I've worked as a consultant for the National Cultural Foundation for several years. They have a very serious development element, although they too manage the event, the equivalent of Carnival, which is called Crop Over, right? Now, we need to get it right. We need to determine if we must upscale the CDC and if we must resign the Department of Culture. These are conversations that we have been having. And so in the interim, you have a lot of loopholes, which is who's supposed to train massmen? Who's supposed to make sure sound engineers are trained? Who's supposed to make sure you have voice training? These kinds of things, all right? Okay? And we need to address it because where there's a void, eventually it means that the building is going to collapse.
I agree with you, Dr. Cox, and I believe the department, as you said, what happens in Barbados, they should focus on policy and things close to policy. And the staff.
I'm not saying they should do that. I'm saying we need to get our model right. We need this conversation, and this conversation has not been happening.
Lanford.
Yes, good job.
I remember one time they used to have, because I think I work with them already, the community development program under the I think it came out from the welfare department or something. I can't remember exactly, but I could have drawn up a program and write up a program and take it to them, and they look at it, and they will find a place that I could go and teach certain things. And Mr. Childs used to run it at that time. I don't know.
Yes, it was the community development division.
Yeah. And that program used to run and do training of craft and all that kind of stuff. They used to have people going about in community development, in community centers, and teach craft.
Yeah, Coach. But you see, as government evolved, we add all of these names and functions to ministries, and it creates confusion, as Dr. Cox is suggesting. I think that government really should focus on the central government should focus on policy, quality, etc. And we, as is the case, for example, in infrastructural development, when they created the BRAXA. So you have a ministry now that focus on larger issues, and BRAXA does the implementation. I think we need to go that route with respect to the culture. And we need to sort out what the NTF was established for, and look at all the resources that we have in the Department of Culture, in the NTF. I think they had bought a building over in Montrose that was intended for the NTF to use in some way. We have to look at all the resources, human and otherwise, and streamline where necessary. Because as...
Exactly, Lansford, exactly. That once you have a program design, you determine what department or what institution should help this. For example, we have a big problem. We have no music program. In 2026, we don't have no school of music. Right? We used to have schools music festival, national music festival. We don't have any of those things again. And those are development aspects. So who's producing the musicians? Who's producing the musicians? And hence, the issue that Lansford pointed to this morning. Once upon a time, you used to have a police cadet band program, which produced a lot of the leading musicians, including my own brother, who now resides in Antigua. He learned to play trumpet there and became an internationally acclaimed trumpeter. And then we remember Dennis Young, who played with the Asterix and then formed the Rebels and so on, and became one of the leading recording trombone players and so on. And therefore, we need to rethink all of these, and this is how we're going to have a better carnival product too. Stage management, lighting, construction, as Kojo pointed to. Kojo just used the element of costuming, but it goes to set design as well. And even in looking at some of the costumes at Victoria Park this year, when the people turn around, you say, well, who did build these costumes? Forget people are turning around. There's nothing at the back.
Okay. Gentlemen, it seems as if we have exhausted our time on the program. There are one or two other things I wanted to touch on from the newspaper. In particular, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the editorial in the Searchlight newspaper. I thought it was interesting that they're raising the question as to what happened to the name Independence Park, because most of the artists on stage are referring to it now as still Victoria Park. But actually, I heard two
Last night they were staying in Independence Park until they put it up for a vote.
You mean last night?
Yeah, the one DMC, he started saying, he was saying Independence Park.
So he put it up for vote?
Then he said, is Independence Park or Victoria Park? Which one? And then I guess most of the people say Victoria Park. So
no, but he can't put it up for vote.
That's what happened last night.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it was named Victoria Park by the previous government. But I heard two youngsters on Tuesday referring to it as Independence Park. Our youngster from more than two on Tuesday. Yeah. I heard two.
You're talking about the
Calypsonians.
Yeah, it's more than two.
One was from Convent, Kingston, and the other one from the person who was from Rose Hall. I don't remember which she sang for.
There were a couple of them said Independence Park.
Yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised when I heard them.
Yeah, and I was encouraged. Also, I wanted to mention Professor Robinson's article, All My Eye Water Done, his contribution to his, which is now a replacement for Renwick's contribution column, I Have Needed. I thought that was an interesting article. I want to just encourage people who have not yet looked at it to take a read and see what you think of it.
Is he challenging his poser knowledge? Poser. Is he bringing out the poser knowledge?
No, he's using poser's tune, All My Water Done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As the background for his own article, saying all his own eye water done. Yeah. And he's given a number of reasons why. It's all in the paper.
I'll have to go and read it.
Yeah, I would encourage.
Because I look online, but now I'm here. I don't really look at it that much.
No, you need to read that particular column this week, especially.
Cecil,
yes.
We can't say enough until we remind people tonight. It's the Calypso finals, King and Queen of the bands, and we're going to have a good time. Come to the park early. And support the culture. Let's keep the carnival going. And tomorrow is Juve, right, Cecil?
Well, Coach will be there.
Yes, tomorrow is Juve. And then you put on your T-shirt in the evening.
And Tuesday, Kojo.
And Tuesday, SVG players on the road. I'm taking a shameless plug. SVG players on the road.
All right, fair enough. But there might be other bands as well. There might be.
Yeah, there's 12 bands, but
okay, but
SVG is on the road.
It's on the road. But Dr. Scott, don't forget, this evening the music will be strengthened. It will be the festival band, and there will be other top musicians playing together to accompany the Calypsonians. You there?
Right. So come out. Yeah, come out and enjoy. It's a different experience. And we have some very good calypsos tonight. I'm leading the charges with the judges, so you're going to get good results.
Oh, Scotty, what name you carry now? Your judge coordinator or the chief judge? I was trying to tell Cecil today.
Chief judge. Also helping with the coordination, yes.
Okay, so I was in the right park.
Yeah. Before I just noticed an additional comment by somebody who says, in respect to the point where that has been talked about earlier, development, the person saying, I believe we need to include in our development program and aspects of music appreciation and Vincentian music in particular. This needs to start in the kindergarten or primary school.
That's true.
Interesting.
That's true, because St. Vincent have a particular unique music, and I mean we going for bouillon and all them thing, but the rhythm that Beckett the rhythm that Beckett and So and them had and
Posa
that was
Fireman.
That's a Vinci rhythm.
Unique. Yeah.
So we need
Dr. Scott, you need to comment on this.
Even Touch had a different.
You need to comment on the uniqueness of Vinci musical sound.
Well, I have written about it, and we have already designed, Willis Williams and myself, we already designed a program to teach it. We took it to some authorities before they run us, but we're willing to go back to the authorities again.
Please go back.
Yes.
Find some strength and go back.
All right, so see you all at Victoria Park. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you. I don't know much about Cecil, but I'll see you.
Cecil, as we go out, I noticed Dr. Scott and Kojo ended at Tuesday. But I wish to go beyond Tuesday and say to all listeners that there's life beyond Tuesday. And you must enjoy Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, bearing in mind that is like beyond Tuesday. So be safe. Take into consideration your health in all that you do, and enjoy the remainder of Carnival.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And I just want to give I want to give Pigeon a shout up. I don't know how he's doing this morning,
true.
but Pigeon, shout up to you. I hope you've been listening to the program. And all the persons who have contributed, of course, Dr. Scott, thank you very much. But Dr. Scott, don't go yet because I want to play a tune out of Barbados. I find it funny for crop over this year. I find it not funny. I find it very interesting. And
which one is that?
Huh?
Which one is that?
Well, I'm going to play it just now so you can hear.
I know which one you're going to play. You're going to play The Imitation of Shadow.
How you know that? You saw my playlist?
No, because
what do you think it's that?
CDC sent it to me ever since to give a commentary on it. So I know it's how you're going to play. And if you want to hear my commentary on it, you have to listen to the Pick of the Crop finals.
I will. I intend to, because I find the calypsos coming out of Barbados very interesting. In particular, this one, which is this.
I took a shortcut through this cemetery. Tell you what I see and hear, but you won't believe me. Some dead Californians, some foreign, some Bajan, gathering around the two man, having conversation. Very hard I swallow when some Rupert pillow. As to have a man to man that put life and calypso. I saw Winston Bailey standing in the shadow. Someone in the basement from hell, shilling wisdom so. I was scared as hell, anyone could tell. But the spirit deep within me say this was opportunity. Them tell me don't fuss, you waste one of us. Shadow tell me come join me, was dead serious. Tell me don't pay them no mind, them only passing time. Just take it a look at what we left behind. Questions you could ask, answers you could find. Don't be afraid of ghosts, just enjoy the life. I tell you the best not to be brave, surrounded by legends from the grave. Knowing one day that I will be joining them in the cemetery. I try the best not to be brave, surrounded by legends from the grave. Knowing one day that I will be joining them in the cemetery. Mommy, I saw the observer, he was looking on. He said, "Is can you tell me about the crime situation? Seems like the brain damage, there's no turning back. Penalty scratch the surface, we need a cat attack. The love man Romeo, tell me he just don't know how to fix his brother fuzzy. Can't believe Jim gone so. Dennis Plummer tell me we just like TNT. Bullet flying, young men dying, but the spirit she not leaving. Music start to play, them start to dingole. That's when I saw Kuru dancing. He got a mad woman jamming. Charmer start to laugh. Oh, just as dragon pass. Kuru said, don't mind, he's a snake in the grass. They tell me, don't pay them no mind. Mommy, oh, it's the only passing time. Just live time. Just take it a look. And take a look now. Oh, mommy, oh, yeah. Questions. Answers. Don't be afraid of it. Oh, mommy, oh, yeah. Just enjoy the life. I tell them, I try to be better to be brave. Surrounded by legends from the grave. Knowing one day that I will be joining them in the cemetery. I try to my best not to be brave. Surrounded by legends from the grave. Knowing one day that I will be joining them in the cemetery. Mommy, oh, right on. Oh, me right on. Among the legends. Up next, get back started.
Dr. Cleve Scott.
Yeah, that's Adrian Clark.
A sneak preview of your review. Give us a sneak preview.
Yeah. Well, that's Adrian Clark, also known as AC. And he has won the crown several times. A very good friend of mine.
Okay.
Now, my major concern with this song, in the lyrics, he doesn't explain how he acquires the persona of Shadow. He doesn't explain it. But what he has done is to use the name of the singers and the title of songs they have written or lyrics they have written and put it together to transmit a message. So, for example, you hear talk about Absorber Cat Attack. Again, he was a good friend of mine. He died arrested, and in fact, Willis Williams played on several recordings for him. So that would be the main thing. He doesn't explain how he acquires a persona. Outside of that too, because he's using the shadow style, the drum beat, and the vocal
Baseline,
style,
the bass.
and so on. It is arranged by Nicholas Branca, and I think Nicholas still stood too close to the shadow motifs. So in essence, it's a mini shadow with us not understanding why he has become shadow. And as a result of that, I wouldn't rate it highly in creativity. But outside of that, it is a very entertaining song, and it does capture the attention of the listeners because he's calling so many familiar Calypsonians. He's invoking lots of memories. Dennis Plummer, We're Not Leaving, Rupert Philo, which is Swallow, King Swallow. You all remember him from Backseat Jam and all those kinds of things. That would be my take.
Mm-hmm. Scotty, you know, there's someone that just passed away by the name of Pharaoh that sounds just like that too, right?
Pharaoh, wait, remind me where is he from?
Pharaoh is from Trinidad.
Trinidad, okay. But Adrian Clark has been singing a long time. Since in the 90s.
Pharaoh just passed away, so.
Yeah. Since in the 90s. And he can write very good lyrics. And his skill is he is very good at extemporaneously. He could make up lyrics on the spot. If he forgets his line, you never know. Right? So I have no doubt, because of the quality of his vocal and all of these things, that he would be in the Barbados finals. Yeah,
I find his composition very tight in terms of lyrics, the music, the whole thing, the rendition of the song and everything. I find it very tight.
So what we are doing now is to wait, which I haven't heard because I'm here for Carnival. And clearly from the next couple of days, I have to go in the tents to wet my feet and get familiar with some of the different songs that have come out. But it's going to be, it's always very competitive and it's well attended. It's the biggest Calypso show in the world. Last year we had about 18,000 and it was stream free globally. In St. Vincent we are charging. I think we need to stream our major events free so that people could see what is happening and reach. And the Barbados government is the best decision they ever made.
It's because it's a promotional thing. Just like how the singers here those are promoting rum free. The rum makers getting free promotion and everything. That's what the government should do. Promote Carnival.
I don't think we should be charging for Calypso finals and soca. I think we should be streaming it. We put a lot of support behind iShow Speed, but our own thing, we don't understand that's where we should be driving.
Dr. Scott, you need to advise those folks, Dr. Scott, in CDC and the folks in culture.
Scotty, I think Calypso should be out front from the day the tent open.
Stream it. Yeah. Stream it free. Stream it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the Bajan authorities understood it, and last year they made tremendous inroad. It didn't have a Calypso lover around the world who didn't see it and said, so much people, let's go Calypso.
18,000 is a big number. I was going to ask you when will ours come close to half of that, even quarter? 1/10.
Listen, we will get there. We will get there because
we will get there, but we have to do the right things.
We're not going to give up. We're going to keep pressing on.
Yeah, but Dr. Scott, it don't happen overnight, as you have said just now. We got to do the right things.
Yes,
we got to do the sensible things, not the right thing, but the sensible things to promote it. Well, Dr. Scott, thanks again for your sacrifice for being on the program today. We know you just left Independence Park when 6 o'clock this morning, I think, but you're here.
Yeah, but going back there now.
You have to go
see
again.
Everybody there tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Thank you, and of course we thank we thank Kojo for living all the way in California to be on the program twice live.
I never thought I would have two back to back.
Back to back. Kojo, thank you very much. And of course, as usual, we don't have to really thank Lansford. He's always there. He's a nation
We
builder.
still have to thank him.
Yeah, we have to thank him, but he's going to come out to be correct. He's a nation builder. He's a man who's concerned and cares about the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He has made his physical contribution, and now he continues even in his retirement years. So, Lansford, thanks again, and we always look forward to have you on the program. Could you were saying something?
No, I said don't forget to give me his number.
Oh, I will. You all were supposed to connect last week, but you forgot. Yes. So, Lansford, you there? Oh, he left. All right. So you might hear when he looks back at the program. So, folks, thank you very much for being with us today, and we look forward to being with you another issue on Sunday on WEFM next week. My name is Cecil, and good afternoon.
Yes, so that has been our program. Issue at hand. It's Cecil Rand and guest Kojo and Mr. Scott and Lansford Weeks. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in to Issue at Hand right here in the clean fresh sound of WEFM 99.9. So until next Sunday, keep it locked.